Oh, that music gets me hyped every single time. This is Rocket Lab Daily, episode 21. My name's Liam, one of the Hustle Brothers here. I've got my co-host, founder of the Haste Club, founder of this beautiful project that we've been doing. We have Christopher Bell, and guys, I want you to jump into the comments here. We've got Space Drivers. Guys, how are we getting on?
Yes, finally
Yes,
got him
let's
back on.
go. Let's
Back
go,
on.
boys.
Let's do it.
I'm stoked, and I just want to say, I'm not on camera today. I'm holding that out. I've been having some bets going with guys and saying that I just kind of popped on here recently on the audio front, started talking a little bit more. Honestly, Liam, Chris, some of the other guys were the ones who really got me inspired to really just jump in and start talking about Rocket Lab. But I'm holding out for all-time highs. That's been the running bet lately. So depending on how things go, the German markets are showing we are very damn near close to that. So looking forward to maybe even the next week or so. Next time we pop on here, be going live on camera, face reveal, all that stuff. But definitely wanted to start talking to you guys today.
It's one of those, it could be like a curtain reveal right on Rocket Lab Daily. Would absolutely love it, brother. No, I appreciate you coming on the show with us here. Guys, as we said, we will always bring the specialists. We've said it before. I'm no specialist. I am your average retail investor. Chris lets on he's your average retail investor, but you know he's a genius.
I'm the village idiot, man. What are you talking about? That's my job, man. Quit trying to take my job, man.
You're the first guy in
No,
Rocket
man.
Lab before any of us, Chris.
Yeah, they don't count for nothing. They really don't. I mean, we're all up to speed now, I think, for the most part. So that kind of goes by the wayside after a while. Like, yeah, Chris, we already knew that. Shut up, you know. But that's the fun part about it.
Right, guys, we got some mad news today. Yeah, it's not even like Rocket Lab specific, but we can't not talk about it. I want to bring it up straight away. Look, I'm going through Francisco's, but like I could probably find it anywhere. We had Starship. I was actually watching this live, yeah, because I do get quite gassed about your hot fire test. Absolutely anything. We had the catastrophic anomaly of Starship. Is it 36? Ship 36. Now, guys, before we get into a before we get a post-mortem of what actually occurred on Starship, does this worry you coming into Neutron development? We're not at hot fire testing yet. Does it worry
No,
you that we still have to pass this phase?
definitive no. I have less concern. Beck is taking a completely different approach than Elon is. Nothing against Elon. I love Elon. It sucks what happened today. I'm glad that no one was hurt. That's first and foremost to say that. Space is hard, and they're pushing forward hard, and they're not, they're taking risks, and you got to respect that. I'm sure it's a setback for them. I don't see it being a major setback for space overall. It'd be ridiculous to see the markets, feed off of that and everything, sell off. But again, Beck is taking a different type of approach when it comes to building out Neutron. I'm not going to talk a lot today. I just had to say that because I know a lot of people think that everybody in the Rocket Lab community is against SpaceX. That's actually quite the opposite. For the most part, I'm actually a very big Elon fan, and I wish them all the best. Again, glad no one was hurt. Hope they recover from this very quickly. But again, we got a great guest on, so let's hear from him, man. What are your thoughts, Space?
I think it's a shame. No matter which team you're on, which side you're on, I think we're all pro space. We're all pro space exploration, all of the science and discovery that's yet to be found or we're excited to get to. But this is just a somber reminder that this is a very real possibility, and you have to take really large risks to get that really large reward. And there's a whole plethora of opportunity in space, whether it's exploration on the moon, Mars, Venus, whether it's different pharmaceuticals and the way that they procure these pharmaceuticals in low or no gravity orbit, whether it's asteroid mining, whether it's a bunch of fields that we may not even have the thought of thinking of right now, that it's a potential of space because we haven't really gotten fully into that frontier yet. We've really expanded into the communications, really expanding into other areas, and where it's very much the theoretical phase, I'd say. But as far as what SpaceX is doing, I have a ton of respect for Elon, for SpaceX, for all the companies that are doing this. But SpaceX and Elon were really the ones. I always talk to people about the launch cadence. They really took the launch cadence up to a point where I looked at the chart of what SpaceX was doing, and when I saw that chart go vertical on these launches, because before that it was a very bureaucratic with NASA, with all these other organizations, it was a very slow growing organization or slow growing field. Once I saw what SpaceX was doing as far as really ramping those launches up, it became a very much an investable business field rather than, hey, this is a fun thing or a cool thing. This is somewhere where I could park my capital. And everything I say, just not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. I'm just going to be talking a little bit about it because I am heavy on the investment front with Rocket Lab. I have a ton of my own capital parked there. But yeah, it sucks watching any rocket, anything blow up, but it's a real reminder of the risks involved. I'm glad that no one was hurt. Maybe Elon was trying to take a quick drag or something in between meetings real quick and popped the tank or something. But yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, so I think Elon wrote on X, initial analysis of data suggesting a nitrogen composite overwrap pressure vessel in the vehicle's payload bay failed below its proof pressure, triggering the explosion. If further investigation confirms that this is what happened, it is the first time ever for this design. And the thing is, we need to understand, guys, that this again is a testing program. This is not your full design of Starship at the moment. So we are going to get little, well, we say little, we are going to get some setbacks. How far of a setback this is going to actually end up being, I don't actually know. I love watching the Starship launches. I actually think we need to stream one of those launches on this, Chris, 100%. I know we were going to do it before I was away at the time, but no, going forward, I think we need to do some of the Starship launches.
Chris, I'm fine with that. But I'm totally fine with that. Or we're still going to stream the Electron launch later, right? Is that still going to happen? I just want to know if I need to happen.
I'll tell you. I'll be dead honest with you.
I got to work tomorrow.
It'll be probably one of my hustle brothers that does it with you, just because I have to run my grandfather to an appointment in the morning, and it's 8:15 in the morning. The launch is, and I'm leaving at 6:30. Potentially, if we're up there early, I'll jump in on the phone. But
I don't feel sorry for you. I envy you. I'd rather be taking my grandfather to an appointment in the morning than being awake at 2:30. Because you know what's going to happen. We're going to do the whole launch and then the deployment, and then I'm going to be at work 2 hours later and get no sleep. But no, it'll be fun. I mean, it'll be a lot of fun. I joke around. I do enjoy it. For anybody that plans on being awake and getting on there, I do feel sorry for you, but we'll have some fun, man. We'll have some laughs. Please join in. I wanted to just really quick. I didn't mean to. Man, there's so many questions and we have like so little time. We're gonna get Space Derivatives back on here. He's limited for time today, and I know he's got a lot of stuff he wants to get into. But when he talks, I have like 10 more questions. He's so smart, man. He's so smart. I'm so proud of this guy, man. I can't wait for him to actually reveal himself. But you touched on astro mining just a few minutes ago, and I just really quick, and we'll get to the next one. But have you had a chance to look at a company called Astroforge? I think Francisco pointed that out yesterday. Have you looked at? So we're all trying to find. We're always looking for who's a Constellation, who's a Reaction World client, who's the next launch client. I went down a really deep rabbit hole on that. Learned a lot of stuff I didn't need to know, but also learned a lot of stuff I probably should know. But yeah, just if you don't mind, man, just really quick on that. If you have any thoughts?
Yeah, so I have not heard of that company. I'll definitely have to look in. And Francisco's always that guy. You know, the guy is just so wicked smart, and he's always on the forefront of everything that's happening in the space community. So I'll definitely have to link up with that guy and see what he's got to say about it, and with you offline. But on as far as like asteroid mining or just like space mining in general, right? It may not be the first area that we necessarily go to. Like I'm seeing this kind of like thinking about it from like a strategic point of view. Like if you go to space, you might want to get, and I may completely be wrong here, you know, it's like kind of like my generalized thoughts when I'm kind of thinking about like the space strategy trajectory in general. When we're going to space, you'd want to make sure you can get to space. Two, you have that reliability and preferably reusability. You'd want the communications in place. So setting up some sort of communications, whether it be for logistics, communication purposes, data going to and from, having that support system, the logistics support around the missions going to the moon, to Mars, Venus, wherever we may end up going, you want to have that support in place. So then when we finally do get there, whether it's robotics, humans, what have you, we can set up some sort of a presence, have some sort of way to get back, and then start building on that, whether it's full scale terraforming, whether it's just setting up some sort of outposts. And I mean, and take this with a grain of salt. I mean, this is going like maybe 10, 20 plus years in the future. It may take a while to do this, but then we're starting to get into the phase of maybe we can start mining or prospecting these different areas and looking for these rare materials that you cannot get here on Earth, whether that's capturing an asteroid or sending a rocket to an asteroid and sending a mining probe to it, or whether it's one of these planets. There's going to be, whether it's for pharmaceuticals, whether it's for science, whether it's for weapons development, I mean, there's a whole plethora of things that it could potentially be. There's going to be these materials that you just cannot find here on Earth. And being one of the first companies that can get there, harvest this material, first of all, find out what the material is, and then successfully get that material back to space, or back to Earth, rather. Those materials are going to be, I don't even know how you would value those materials, right? I mean, if you have like a couple handfuls of the only material that humans have access to, how do you value that? I don't know. But how big that goes, how quickly we get there, I have no idea. But I'm just thinking logically, at some point, that's got to be a huge, huge bonus for space, and just a huge value add in the future.
I already have like 15 more questions. I hate that we have such a short amount of time with you. I already do, man. But I love your thought process. That's exactly what we want here, man. As you guys know, we don't expect receipts. This guy does not have to prove anything. He's just here to think outside the box and get us all thinking as investors, because it's space, it's large. There's vast amount of possibilities. I couldn't have asked for a better answer. I know you're probably eager to get in some numbers. I know you just can't wait to start talking about some numbers. But as always, we do try and recognize everybody in the chats. I can't ever see the chats. I know that you're kind of going dark yourself, but if you see something that stands out to you, space that you want to address, or Liam, let's jump into it and
let's fire straight into it. Yeah. So we've got Midwest Cannabis, second like hit. Guys, make sure to smash the like button. Show your appreciation for space derivatives. And guys, if you want that face reveal, you're going to have to bang that subscribe button because he is 100% going to be back with us. SpongeBob, hi from New Zealand. SpongeBob is here every single day.
What's up, SpongeBob?
Do you know, I never know how to pronounce your name, brother. Is it Rindam? How are we getting on, brother? Hey,
Rindam's also my boy. What's up, man? Yeah, he's a really good guy. A dude you can just drink a beer with.
Hi, pal. Got your beer ready? Of course.
Yeah, I stole a lot of stuff. I got a lot of information that I'm gonna claim as my own, but I took it all from Ringdong. It's all his. But I told him in the chats, I'm stealing this tonight. You're basically just writing a whole show, and I'm taking all your info. Yeah, that guy is great, man. I think he's from Denmark. His time zone a little bit different, so he's up late right now. But he did want to get in. He wanted to hear from space, not so much from me. But we're gonna get him on. Not sure when. I'm just started working on that today, but that's gonna be a lot of fun. But thanks, bro. Thanks for everything you do. Your posts today were fire. If you guys aren't following him, follow him now. Check out his last couple of posts, especially if you're newer to Rocket Lab.
Yes.
And you're a newer investor. That's a great source for information for just. If I say the word the basics, it's going to take away from how brilliant some of his posts really are. Blows me away a lot. And he's able to put things in words that the everyday, even if you're first day investing and you know nothing about investing, he's got a great way of just putting into words that anyone can understand and apply that to their investing portfolio, investing lifestyle. So thanks again, man. I really appreciate all the info.
Yeah, no, definitely the one I think you're referring to about the starship explosion of the Indian Ocean. I just think that post was beautifully written. I think Chris is going to get into this further on the show, but no, Rindam, 100%. Dude, where are you at? It's midnight here, brother. So that means you're an hour further than me ahead. France, Denmark. You're not in France.
No, this guy's crazy, man. I'll say this guy, not only is he a crazy investor, but he knows how to have a really good time. I told him we break 35. I'm flying out there to Denmark, and he's like, man, I've got you. I'm going to take care of you. We're going to show you around and have a great time. So, I mean, on the way back, Liam, I may have to do a hop, skip across over to your side and say what's up, so
100%. Yeah, we could do a tour of the fucking whole Ireland. It'd be unbelievable. Let's go. Oh, really? They must be cool. They come on, space derivatives. Not worried. Different style of engineering and testing. Elon failed fast, so Peter Beck wants 92% confidence before they hit the pad. Scott Manley showed screenshots of the fuel blowing out the fairings. Do you think they rushed in too quick with Ship 36? Or do you just think it was, look?
I think it was a freak accident. Yeah, I think it was a freak accident. They're so far ahead of a lot of those basics, and again, space is hard, and when you have so many details you're overlooking from the ground floor all the way up, it's easy to get excited about something and miss a small detail that can turn into a major catastrophe. Again, sucks, but just like we learned with Electron, not too long ago, very small, very rare chance that something like that would happen, but it did happen. And we had an unsuccessful launch, and we did some research. We went in and found it's very rare this could happen, but if we change it just slightly, it eliminates it. So, they're learning and they're getting better. So I just see this as it sucks, man. On the pad, I mean, there's a lot of destruction there, but on the, being right there on the pad, but they're going to learn from this. And, Elon is brilliant. The whole team is brilliant. They're going to grow from this. But I do, like SpongeBob said, Beck is taking a different approach. They have to. They're at Wallops. They have to. They can't take a lot of risks. They have to prove a lot more in each individual stage, just because of the risk. Look at how close they are to some very major military outlets. Not to mention they're not far from DC, so you don't just want to send up a rocket that just goes haywire and goes crazy and goes anywhere. There's a lot going into it. And as you guys know, I gave a lot of crap about, hey, Neutron might be delayed a little bit. Never said 26. I was thinking, 4 or 5, 6 weeks, but I'd rather them get it right or get it really close to right and be delayed a little bit than get it completely wrong and have this happen.
Yeah, and Liam, if I could jump in there real quick.
Yep.
First of all, wanted to do a shout out to Fool's Gold. I saw him flash up on the screen here for a moment. He's one of the largest, one of the biggest Rocket Lab investors, both in passion and size. The guy believed in the company from way back, just taking a massive position, when other people were a little skeptical. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to him. Jacob Keaton, also another massive Rocket Lab investor. Both of these guys really just were on the early stages of the company. And I remember, these guys just from like way back in the day, just total brainiacs, but also like living life, being just like good, solid guys, really, really smart. Jacob especially is just like highly understanding. I think he's an engineer himself and just like really understands the ins and outs really well. And just wanted to comment on the explosion too. Yeah, it's a little different, and I'm not detracting from anything with Elon, right? I really like the guy, right? Like I'm like hesitant to say I love the guy because it's like I understand his brilliance. I know what team I'm on. I'm for all of space though. It's a shame what happened with Starship, but when you realize like the guy's an absolute genius, like off the Richter scale. I also think Peter Beck is a genius off the Richter scale as well. And with Neutron coming on, it's like Starship, but it's not like Starship. Starship, they've proven it out. They've gotten a tons of satellites up into space. They've really just been pounding the pavement, doing unbelievable. I mean, like landing boosters on chopsticks and just like blowing people's minds out of this world. And this is going to be the debut for Neutron rocket. You know what's coming up. So the the odds are they're just so out there. The risk is very high. Could things go wrong? Yes. But the way, if you look at any of Peter Beck's interviews, if you look at the way that the guy talks, the way that he just stays so humble and grounded and says, hey, listen, we're just here to execute on the business. We're here to do rockets and all the other things that we do. But just staying so humble and on ground base. And the thing that I keep coming back to is in one of his interviews where he was just talking about the zip ties and how they space the zip ties perfectly in accordance with the exact separation that they should be. It goes to show you the level of thought that they think things through the whole way through on the rocketry, on how they do everything. And when you are debuting, they've come from Elon had multiple successful companies before this came through. And now while SpaceX had to struggle from a mere $100 million investment, Beck was shooting off rockets, by a shed next to, I'm sure, a bunch of sheep, somewhere in New Zealand, where it was literally just a pure passion that formed into everything that it is today. And without that capital, they've really taken this company and taken it to the stage where it's at. And I totally respect both guys, but Beck is solely focused on Rocket Lab, while Elon has multiple companies. He was running Doge for a while. He may be retracting out of that for a bit, but it goes to show how incredibly hard space is in general, how much respect you have to give to companies doing this. And there's nobody that I trust more than Sir Peter Beck with parking essentially 95% of my portfolio with this guy, because I've seen how he talks, I see how he operates, and that trickles down from the top to bottom. So can something happen? Yes. But if anyone was going to do this, I think it's Peter Beck.
You actually touched on something there that has got my ears up an awful lot, because I've noticed this with every single guest we've spoke to. I've noticed this with Chris, and then most of the guys in the chats. And what I want, guys, is for you to jump into the chat and tell me how many of you, or how many of your portfolio is over 90% Rocket Lab. Because the amount of people we speak to on here, the concentration into Rocket Lab is immense. And I think I've spoken about this on both the Vital side and on the Rocket Lab side, that concentrations into companies with that you have extreme high conviction in is the way to go when it goes right. If you have done your due diligence, and look, there's always going to be a little bit of luck in there. You don't want to get married to a company, but the likes of Rocket Lab, whose post did I comment on the last day? No, it was talking to Space Ghost yesterday. And it's like, I don't know, am I blinded by the blinkers at the moment? But there's nothing Rocket Lab are doing that I'm worried about whatsoever. Chris, have you any thoughts on that?
I was a 100% Rocket Lab up until 2-3 days ago, and I finally bought into Redwire.
Yep.
That's one of the first companies I bought into outside of Palantir in the last year. I didn't start buying Palantir until it was like the 9s, 8, 7s. Like an idiot, I sold it like 17, 18. I remember I bought back in like 42, and people were like, "You're stupid." And I'm like, "No, you just don't get it." Because I didn't get it. I just thought, I was like, "Hey, I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon." I didn't do my research. As you guys know, I was horrible at that at the beginning, but I got lucky with Palantir. And once I realized what they were doing, yeah, I did buy in 42, and I had no issue doing that. And my only issue was that I actually sold at all. I wish I still held it, but I big into Rocket Lab. I want to blame Fools Gold for that, or somebody. I just want to blame anybody. Fools is the investing traveling hippie. All right, that guy's in different parts of the world every day. As a matter of fact, he's going to be here at some point. And just really quick, I wanted to touch on this too. While I've got space on here, I'm hoping that you're trying to make plans for the Neutron party this weekend. I am actually going to be setting a date. I'm not saying that it's when it's going to launch. I'm saying that we're going to set a date and we're going to plan around and basically just a big investors meetup. The whole thing is going to happen, but the date's going to get set this weekend. Fools is going to try and make it out, depending on where he's at in the world at the time. But I'm going to try, because I want to, give as much of a timeline, some chance for everybody to kind of arrange some time to get around it. And yeah, Space, you're definitely welcome, man. I hope you make it.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. Hope Liam can make it too. I know it's a bit of a travel for him, but
me and Rindom could jump on the same flight.
just stop over.
100%, bro.
Nah,
Look, I'm looking at it at the moment. Once Chris sets a date, I'll be able to get a clearer picture on what's happening. Chris knows I'm a farmer, so if Chris can send someone over to look after the animals, 100%. But
I got daughters, man. I got daughters. I'll send them right over. My son's over there somewhere. So he'll look after them. No big deal. No worries. They're responsible.
And Chris and I are both Virginia boys, so
he's a Virginia boy.
Yes, sir. So that's one of the things that kind of drew me into Rocket Lab,
yes, sir.
was understanding the wallops, the locality. I was just blown away. And so Chris is about 2.5 hours from me, but it's really not that big of a drive. So I can't wait for him to drop that date and start meeting some of the other people around here, because this group everyone kind of jumped in on different timelines. I'm not one of the older ones, but being in it for like 2.5 years or something like that, it's been a good minute. And so we've all been like talking about this, thinking about this. What are the next steps? What's Neutron? What are we doing with this? And I think Chris is doing an awesome job, like just spearheading everything and turning all of these virtual spaces into a reality. I think it becomes much more real once you all start meeting each other in person. You start seeing launches in person. It all just becomes, it gives it that extra dimension.
And we don't have to wait for the Neutron launch either. I mean, Electron, when they're launching out of wallets for Electron, it's more advertised. It's almost more of a sure thing. Dylan is not far from us. Tatted is about the same distance drive. He's in Maryland, somewhere in Maryland. I think I might have got that wrong, but I know he's not too far. So we could easily have 4 or 5. Matter of fact, Johnny Mack was like, "Hey, let me know if you're going to be there. I'll drive down. I'll fly. Whatever it takes." And Francisco too. So we could have 2 or 3 or 8 or 9 people just for an Electron launch, and that does make it a lot easier when it comes to booking reservations. Again, Wallops is not very big, not a lot of infrastructure, but since we are so close, there's no reason why we could not do this more often, and we can just go live straight from the launch. That'd be a blast. I mean, that'd be a lot of fun. Anytime you guys want to get together and do something like that, I'm more than happy to do it anytime.
And then Johnny Mack is saying that you're definitely getting the Haste Club tattoo at the party. That's true.
If it wasn't, it is now, Liam.
100%.
No. I woke up the next morning and I was sober, and I've already told Johnny, one, he's got to pay for it if I do. Second, yeah, I got, man, Johnny Mac, man, I love you, but you're killing me right now, bro. You're killing me. So that might have to happen. We'll talk more on that in the chats there. Yanni, love you, buddy. But hey, maybe we gotta get Yanni on next week if we can.
I've just thought of something, Chris. Yeah. So do you know how we're big into projects here at the Haste Club? We're speaking to so many good people. Space Derivatives, absolutely amazing. Space Ghost, amazing. Jacob's amazing. Francisco. I want to set a challenge for us, Chris. Yeah, you done the Rocket Lab Daily. You said, you know what, we'll do it for 30 days, and then you pulled the wool over my eyes, and now we're doing it every day. So I want to do something to you, Chris. Yeah. So why don't we set a date with all the guys that we do a Rocket Lab stream marathon? Yeah. So we could get a lineup of like Francisco, Dylan, Reese, myself, yourself, Jacob, Space Ghost, Space Derivatives, Dave G, Scott O, Rimdom, Johnny Mac, SpongeRob, Olga, and we could see, could we go for like, I don't know, 6-8 hours straight? What's your thoughts on that?
We can do that if we can all meet up at an Electron launch. Get 3 or 4 or 5 of us out there, and by then we'll have Space Derivatives. His YouTube channel will be boosted up so he can go live. We're gonna try and get it. Everybody should have a YouTube channel. I mean, it's fun. I don't have the subscribers I need to go live yet, but I will get there eventually. Worst case, we just go StreamYard and we do it here. But that'd be a blast because I was told earlier today, and we are going to try and branch off into this. And it makes one of the biggest reasons I started Haste Club is not for all of us that already know everything about Rocket Lab. It's fun to talk about, but there's a lot of new investors out there that are just getting into it, and the kind of information we give out sometimes can be intimidating because we're leagues ahead of brand new investors. So I want to go back and pretty much start from the very beginning, and just peel apart the onion that is Rocket Lab, whether it's launch or the space systems. And again, utilize the people in our community like Space Derivatives and bring them in, let them do the stuff that they're great at, like the numbers. Somehow, some way, so far today during this live stream, we've been able to avoid from Space actually getting into numbers. I know he's
all right. Here we go, Chris.
I know he's biting at the bit, man. Let's just let him do it. Let's go with
let
that.
him do it.
So, all right, let's talk a little bit of numbers. I gotta head out for a play here in 15 minutes, so let me run through. And again, appreciate you guys having me on here, and I can't wait for the next one. The way that the German markets are going right now, I know it's very low volume, but I mean, I was seeing numbers like about $32 a share or something like that if we did the EU conversion. And so it's really exciting times. The thing that I want to say is that Rocket Lab has a certain pattern. And that pattern is they stay quiet, they execute, and then all of a sudden they throw everything in the kitchen sink, and all of a sudden the stock price generally just starts going up with that news. People just start panicking because some kind of curveball, some extra thing came through that they weren't expecting. When we've been going up in share price, I think going from somewhere about 350 middle of last year to about $33 a share, which is an incredible run. I mean, people were so caught off guard. I was one of a few of the bigger bulls to say that I was calling for $20 end of year. And even really that was on the low end, because when they started coming out with the Neutron news, people were so excited and there was so much swirl around Rocket Lab that people were just piling in. And so when this company that was about pinging between 350 to $8 a share for a couple years, the excitement just went through the roof, and you just see the volume started ticking up immensely in Rocket Lab. And so when you're seeing the volume go from about, let's say about 3.5 million shares per day to about 15, 18 million shares on the 65-day moving average, let's say. And not only did it peak through that, it sustained through that. I mean, that's a what, 5, 7 somewhere times multiple on the average trading volume. Whether that's buy shares, that volume tells the big story. If you look at the Rocket Lab all-time chart, for those who don't know, I trade heavily in options. Essentially, my whole Robinhood portfolio is 100% pure options. And I have my core position, which I keep as a long position, usually generally fairly in the money. Look for good, if there's a good reset or a sell off and I'm like, hey man, this is bullshit. Like, this company's awesome. This is just a mild sell off, whatever it is. I do a buy-in on these in the money shares, or in the money contracts rather. And then I have a bit of my position, I don't know, somewhere between 10 to 20% of it that I try to flip on shorter term contracts. And now I definitely don't recommend jumping in and doing that because it sounds fancy or anything like that. I've been investing for 10 plus years. A lot of people have been doing it a lot longer. It's very risky. Definitely, definitely don't just jump into this. It's not fun and games. But what I've done with Rocket Lab and what I've been able to do with essentially just buying out bottoms and just saying, hey, I believe in this company so much. I mean, I told you I was about 90, not only am I 95% allocated in Rocket Lab, but it's also in pure options. So that's like a multiplier on top of just being 95% consolidated in Rocket Lab, being able to just have that multiplier and then just rinse and repeat. Hey, on the lifts, you sell out a little bit, and on when it dips down again, you concentrate harder and you get a bigger position and you maybe get more in the money. And so
Wow.
that's kind of where we're looking at it, where I think that we're just getting started on this rally. All of us here have kind of seen the immense run from 3 to 33, and they're like, hey, whoa, this has gone kind of crazy. But the way I see this company is the next Tesla, is the next Palantir, is the next company that valuations just don't do it proper justice yet.
That's my boy. That's my boy right there.
You know what I'm
Yes, I
saying?
love
There's
that
just a few
comparison, man.
anomalies like
Yes.
that. So that's where I'm at with it.
No,
That's
bro, I love
exactly
that.
why we brought this guy on. Like,
Yeah,
I can sit back and
that is
listen to
real.
you every day of the week, brother.
We're gonna
And
get him back on. We're gonna get
and
him back on.
I'm gonna be back on because I know Chris is like, hey man, come on with these numbers, man. But seriously, a lot of
No,
us
I
here.
actually, dude, I love them. I tease you, man. I bust balls. That's just a running joke, but that's the reason why when I look at X in the morning, there's about 5 or 6 people that come up immediately on my timeline, and you were very high. Usually, first 3 or 4, people, Jacob, Francisco, all those guys, and that's exactly it. Is that, like I said before, I don't have to spend the hours doing the research. You guys are doing a lot of stuff because it's your passion. I'm passionate about a different aspect of Rocket Lab, and I try and add in what I can here and there. It's not quite, honestly, it's fun, but I don't think there's as much value as far as what you guys actually bring to the table, because there are a lot of numbers, there's a lot of facts, especially if you're a new investor. That's brilliant information, man. No, I love it. And I know that you're got to jump off here soon. You're limited on time, but there is a tradition here. This is Haste Club, and I think you know what's going to come here. And I'm actually going to feed off a little bit of go back to what Ringdome Perion put up earlier, and he was gave a really good explanation of the value of Haste and the possibility moving forward, and he used the UK recent contract as one example. So it doesn't have to be about Haste. I just had to bring that up and give him a shout out, because I did tell him I was going to steal that as well. But I never steal, man. I always give credit. I just screw with you guys. But it's a big tradition here, man. You know, outside the box, outside the numbers, just crazy idea. Again, no receipts, just have fun with it. What are you looking at as far as, you know, a conspiracy kind of idea, as far as where you see Rocket Lab, or what kind of thing they're going to do next, whether it's with a Mineric or Geos, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can be anything. There's no rules here, man. Just have fun with it. Again, no receipts, but we always ask the same question to every guest. Love to hear back from that.
Yeah, bro. First of all, I definitely want to say that if I give like retail price targets out for Rocket Lab, I think that I'm still aiming for $35 by last day of June. So still up a healthy bit from where we closed. I think it was about 27 and a half, somewhere around there, trending higher in Germany markets, really low volume. So we might experience the flush out today. And then I think we're going to hard ping off of that. I still think if we don't hit 35, we'll be close to it. Approaching Neutron, I think we have the earnings report coming up here on 8/7. I think there's going to be some big news coming up. They've been so deadly quiet, and whenever you know they're working on stuff. So whenever they're being quiet, there's just something going on behind the scenes. What it is, I have no idea. But I'm aiming for about $45 share price heading into the Neutron debut. After that, it's going to be about a pretty tight window, but it could be anywhere from about $50 to $60 upon successful Neutron. Now, how successful, how they measure that, I'm not really sure. But with that, with all the macros that we have in place, hopefully getting some macro level rate cuts if Powell would ever just give us a cut like 0.25 or something, just indicate on the dot plot that we're moving in the right direction. Get us to about the 50 to 60 range. And then circling to the conspiracy, I think that we're going to get a massive Haste contract somewhere in the near future. And I'm not just saying that because of Haste Club. I think that with all of the things that are going on, I think everyone's looking at this Iran conflict right now and saying, holy shit, if Iran has these hypersonic capabilities that they do, what does Russia have? What does China have? And how good are we feeling? I know that the Golden Dome is really up and coming and on the forefront. I think Haste is one of the most underrated production lines in Rocket Lab. Now, whether that's for hypersonic delivery, whether that's for actually getting into hypersonics themselves, I don't know. But I just know that that's a huge, huge X factor in the Rocket Lab area, on top of Neutron, on top of Flatellite, on top of all these things. Rocket Lab's been so deadly quiet. I am so bullish. I said that I was calling $20 last year when we were at $3 to $5. People were laughing me off the stage. And then we blew way past that. And even I was a little bit underestimating. Whether I'm right or wrong on this time around, we'll yet to see. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there and say Haste is going to be one of the craziest growing areas within Rocket Lab under the various end-to-end on the space company. And I think that with this whole conflict, I hope it ends soon. I hope we can get this tied up. But I will say that I think with all of this that's happening right now, it's got to be something coming down the lines. If they're not talking about it, it's going to be happening in the near future. And just like that $515 million contract that came out of absolutely nowhere for Rocket Lab last year, I think something along those lines could be coming for Rocket Lab.
Bro, that's brilliant. As a matter of fact, remind me tomorrow. I've got something to send to you. I can't bring receipts, but I think you'd enjoy doing the research on it. And just what you said, I'm seeing something very big come down the pipelines for Haste. As you know, the same old characters are also working on this as well. So I definitely want to send that info over to you tomorrow. Welcome to the Haste family, man. You're one of us now. You know, you're one of us. Definitely, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for that. And then, as part of the closing tradition for you, because I know you have to get away early. So Chris has asked you for your biggest conspiracy. I then ask a random space question that has nothing to do with Rocket Lab whatsoever. So any of the guys that haven't been here before, I've asked about, is there life outside of Earth? All different stuff. But today the question is space rivers. You're gonna have to think about this one now, yeah? Do we live in a universe or a multiverse?
Man, you guys cannot let me get off here easy. It really, it has to be a multiverse. I mean, just the sheer numbers, man.
Yep.
I mean, not only when you look in the sky, I mean, it's just what we can see to the naked eye, right? It's how many dimensions. I think, what was that movie? That space movie, that Murph, you know, like they're looking at all the different dimensions of that space, and you know, I think that there is things that we are so in our infancy as living beings that we can't even comprehend yet. And so when you look up and there's billions, who knows, trillions of stars, each of those has 0 to maybe 10, 15, 20 plus planets on it. There's no way we're in a singular universe. From my humble retail ape mind, that's where I go. But I've got to run real quickly. Thank you both so much. And really look forward. Thank you everyone that's in the chat, and really look forward to the next one. And hopefully we break all-time highs and I can do a phased reveal. So really looking forward to it, guys. And thank you for having me on.
Hey, thanks, brother. Yeah, hit me up tomorrow. I definitely want to send you some stuff. Definitely get you back on. But today was awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Please show your appreciation for Space Drivers. And look, we're going to have Space back on again. Christopher, it's just getting more and more wild every day. You either message me or I message you. We've got a different person coming on for the next day. Guys, we've got Dave G on tomorrow. Make sure you're about for that, because that's going to be a very interesting one. Why it's going to be so interesting, I've made 2 videos basically calling out Dave G, calling him one of my heroes. He definitely was the reason we started the Hustle Brothers. We had the 4 big boys there. We started, it was around a year, 3 weeks ago. So like Rocket Lab Weekly was well underway at that stage. If you notice, our channel has eVTOL Weekly. Look, not saying we stole the idea, but we kind of did for eVTOL Weekly. That was stolen from Rocket Lab Weekly. But Chris, it's getting so wild, doesn't it? This community keeps on growing. Every day we have more and more people watching us live. And do you know what I want to say, Chris? How have you not got 50 subscribers yet? Guys, please jump across to YouTube and bang the subscribe button on the Haste Club. We need to get Chris to 50 subscribers. There's 52 of you here. That's easily 50. Please. Chris, any thoughts?
Well, just back to what you were saying, we have so much fun here. And I got a comment earlier about, I think it might have been SpongeBob actually, but the fact that we bring in everyone from the community on here live with us. Look, we get information from each other. We can't possibly do this ourselves. I started Haste Club and I was wanting to just go back to the basics and start from the beginning, but there's so much news. space is huge. And like earlier, we talked a lot about SpaceX. Didn't really hit on Rocket Lab a lot. There's so much to talk about when it comes to space. It's hard to go back and start from the beginning and kind of peel apart the onion that is Rocket Lab. So I do want to branch off. It's still going to be a joint venture. I'll still have Liam and Dylan and Reese and everybody still going to be involved. It's not going to change much, but it's going to be more focused on the newer investor. And then we'll still have our fun here, of course, as we always do. But it wouldn't be the same without the community. It's not as fun if you don't have the people that you chat with every day, because we get to know each other better. It's a lot more laid back than a lot of live streams where everyone is expecting the receipts, they're expecting the facts, and that can be a little stressful from time to time, especially if you're a guy out there that's got a lot of followers and everyone's just expecting you to say just the right thing every day. And if you say the wrong thing, you're going to hear it for, an hour or two. We take all that stress away. No one's expected to bring anything with them, just to come here and have fun. Space filled in when you were sick perfectly, filled in tonight, great. Unfortunately, it was a little shorter than I'd like, but that's the kind of person that we can have on a regular basis because he's always got great questions. He's always got great insight. That's the same for everyone out there. I can't wait till tomorrow with Dave. That's going to be awesome.
Guys, please jump into the comments and let us know what questions do you want us to ask Dave tomorrow. Johnny Mac, Hustle Brothers. Who started this Hustle Brothers? Was it you? Was it Matt? I don't know who started that one, brother. Rimdom. Have a friend in Virginia too. Everyone who's anyone lives there. Jacob, my brother, lives there too. Jacob, we need to get you on again, brother. I loved that chat that time. Space Derivatives knows. This reminds me of last year when the price was so low and Rocket Lab was quietly executing. Then boom, price went bonkers. Rimdom agrees with that. Space Rob learned a horrible lesson with Virgin Galactic. Now he constantly looks at bear case evidence on companies. Rocket Lab has little, maybe Neutron delay or failure, but that will be temporary. Chris, I think we both resonate well with that Virgin Galactic story. I think everyone knows we had a terrible time in Virgin Galactic. But look, that is us learning our trade. That is us just being passionate about the space industry, next generation technology.
Well, just like Elon, just like Elon, we learn from our mistakes. We learn from our mistakes and we grow from them. I made a big mistake with Virgin Galactic. I say it all the time.
Would you fly on it?
Hell no! I don't even want to get on it. I don't want to get on a Delta flight to go visit my son. I'll do it tomorrow, but I'm not going to be happy about it. No, it's crazy. You're in a big tube. That thing should fall on the ground. Look, I told you I'm the village idiot. The fact that a combustible engine in a car doesn't just explode blows my mind. So rocket science is
rockets. That's actually mad.
Oh, I love them. I love it. Well, I'm a big Star Wars geek. I want to see the lasers. I want to see, I want to see space stuff, man. I can't say that if it got to a point to where it was like, airline flight and it was just a regular thing and the odds of things blowing up or slim to none, safer than a car. Yeah, then I'd probably want to go out there. I'm not going to lie. They're going to be putting out some really cool like travel destinations in space, and we can get outside of get into LEO and jump on a space station and stay up there for a week and get all the awesome views. I can't say I wouldn't want to do that. Now I can say that I've banned my children from ever going to space, but they don't listen to me, so what does it matter? They're going to go to space anyway. But no, man, I don't like to fly. I build koi ponds. I can't get far enough in the ground. I don't even like to climb trees. I'm old, man. When I fall down, man, that shit hurts.
And then Julie, make sure you all hit the like button, please, guys. The more people that hit the like button, the further this podcast goes out. The further this podcast goes out, the more guests we get on. The more guests we get on, the more knowledge we share. Look, who loved Space Derivatives today? Who loved Space Ghost yesterday? Who loved Jacob Keaton? Who loved Francisco? We're getting Dave G. We're getting Scott O. The world's our oyster at this stage, Chris. And what I want to say, guys, please, please, please jump across to YouTube right now. Make sure to follow Chris for the Haste Club. We need him to get to 50 subscribers so he can go live with me. Also, while you're there, I beg you at this stage, I'm 6 away from 2.5K. Just smash that subscribe button. And look,
How do we
I'll
get
show my appreciation.
How do we get
Go on.
Jules on here? How do we get Jules on here?
Well, my initial plan is, Julie, Olga, and June and Stock Trek Girl. I genuinely reckon that could be a podcast. And then I reckon if we got 2 of them versus 2 of us, and then we could do like a debate on different like subjects, because like me and you are like crazy, we think of these like really crazy ideas, and it'd be nice to see like us versus 2 others and see like can they break down our ideas, or do they agree with our ideas? It would be quite fun. But yeah, I would love an all-female podcast, because I think the girls don't get represented enough in not just the space community, but in the investing community. So I would love for the Haze Club to be the first to have, well, not the first, like, I'm sure there's plenty out there, but a all-female investment podcast. I think that'd be amazing. You know, the information that we do get from the girls, it is unbelievable. So look, DM me, guys. We'll get it set up. I genuinely think this is the way forward. I think
Did y'all hear
the
that?
whole
The
community
lightning?
together.
God agrees. God was like, yes, get him on. Did you guys hear the lightning? Woo, that was a big I got a storm rolling in here. As you guys know, I go live right off my back porch. The timing was just perfect with that. And yes, let's do that at some point. I know my daughter's she just turned 18. As you guys know, she already has RKLB shares, and she will be getting a monthly stipend, and she's so excited about investing, but she doesn't want to hear from me. I'm dad, She's going to be able to relate to someone like a Jules or a June or an Olga way more than they can relate to me. So there's definitely a need. There's definitely a space for that. You guys are always welcome to come join us on here. I can't guarantee I can get her on here because she's a teenager. I mean, what do you do with those? But no, man, it'd be great to have any of you ladies on here anytime. You're very, very welcome.
Definitely. Girls, the opportunities, the door's always open for you. Guys, who wants Stock Trek Girl to come on with us? I'll reach out to her again. I know she was concentrating on firing out quite a bit of content just because she had only just come back, but I'm sure she'd be happy to jump on a podcast with us. Scott, we need that genius on here. Yeah, it feels like, Chris, I don't want to like preempt it or like curse it, but do you think we could get Peter back on after the earnings?
Beck's a long shot. I'm not hoping for that. We do have a great lineup already for next week. I've got to send you a few things. And you know who all these people are, and you're going to love it. We do have a great lineup coming from next week. And also, just because there's 1 or 2, sometimes 3 of us on here, we do it from StreamYard, so we can have as many as 10 people on here. So even if you guys just want to jump in for 5 or 10 minutes and be heard, you're more than welcome. More than welcome anytime. I know it's a bit more open forum when it's on Spaces on X, but we're going to do the same thing here. It's the same kind of atmosphere, same kind of idea, but it's on YouTube, and Liam somehow controls it. He's like the mad wizard behind the curtain. I don't pretend to know how all that stuff was done, but yeah, if you ever want to just jump on here live with us, just send Liam a message, and we'll get you on. It doesn't have to be just us 2 every day. as I said before, that we do have a good lineup next week. Can't wait for tomorrow when Dave G comes on, man. And the funny thing is, too, is I'm sure Dave is like, I got to look up some numbers. I got to figure out about Rocket Lab. But I want to interview Dave himself. And I got some questions just for Dave. But yeah, man, looking forward to it. Getting some crazy weather.
Honestly, guys, like, what is happening there? Not gonna lie, like, with Reese, I have interviewed Horizon Aircraft CEO, and I am telling you, I am a lot more nervous interviewing Dave because I cannot tell you how much I look up to this guy, and it is like meeting your heroes because he is what we have aspired this channel to be like. He's a gentleman. Look, you all know who he is. I don't have to go too far with praising him. Guys, my name's Liam. I am one of the Hostler brothers here. We have my co-host Chris in very, very rainy weather. We're probably going to lose him any minute now. But
it's hailing. It's hailing. Yeah, we just did this just in time. I'm glad we went on early, but thanks everyone. A lot of fun. But hey, welcome to Haste Club. We just go live from the river.
Guys, join us for Rocket Lab daily tomorrow, where we meet a special guest, Dave G. Look, I'm gonna be a nervous wreck for the rest of the night, but make sure you bang the subscribe button. Give me a follow on X. My X is tiny. Make sure to follow Christopher Bell on both X and then the Haste Club on YouTube. Right, guys. Until tomorrow, we'll see Dave G then.
Thanks, Base. Thanks, everyone.